Welcome to the program Mental Health. In today's program, we are going to look at loss and grief. We are going to understand what loss is, and we are going to understand what grief is. Because in life, many are times when we go through some difficult times, many are times when we behave in a certain manner and we don't understand why we behave the way we are behaving. Mostly anger. Sometimes you may have outbursts of anger and you are not aware of what is happening. Because maybe once in your lifetime you went through loss, you are grieving and you are not able to be helped, or you are not able to come out of it. So today that is what we are going to look at. We are going to understand
what is loss and
grief. And before we start off, it's important to understand what loss is. It's important to understand what grief is. When we talk of loss, we are talking of you as an individual losing maybe someone you love or losing something you cherish. Yeah, anything. It can be anything. That is loss. You lose it, and so you grieve. So what is grief? Grief is that pain. The pain you feel after losing. That is what we call grief. And it's important to understand the many types of grieving because we grieve differently. We feel the pain differently depending with the association or depending with the relationship we had with the person who has died or with the item we have lost. So, let us look at the types of grief before we look at the types of losses, because there are very many losses which would lead to you grieving. We are going to look at that. Let us look at the types of grief. Number one, let us look at the type of grief called anticipatory grief. Anticipatory grief.
This is when maybe we are nursing or you are nursing a disease which is not curable. It may be treatable but not curable, so you have lost your health. What are we saying? You may foresee anticipatory, you may foresee the pain coming. Or maybe you can go through anticipatory grief. Maybe you have a court case, maybe about property, and you are seeing like you are losing it.
The pain you feel at that particular time is called anticipatory grief. Yes, because you are anticipating, you are foreseeing a pain coming. And many times we foresee but we ignore. And people are not able to seek help if they are going through that. Court cases, it is important to seek help because the reaction after that may be very serious and you will not understand what makes you go or why you behave the way you behave. Number two is called pathological grief. Pathological grief. This is the type of grief, and many of us go through this grief, which may be very intense because it increases in intensity. It increases. You feel more pain because you have delayed the grieving. Yeah. Because of the circumstances, you delay the grieving or you repress the grieving. And the circumstances we are talking about here, we are talking about, let's give an example of this COVID time. Many people have lost their loved ones, but you are not allowed to bury them. Maybe you just hear they died. From that, you don't see them, you don't have opportunity to serve them when they are dead. And it doesn't matter whether you are paying or not, because that's a government thing, we leave it at that. And it's very important to take care. But the person who is left, or the person or the family of that person or the family of that individual, they go through grief, but circumstances does not allow them to grieve. The circumstance does not allow them to grieve. So it will come later. It will come later. You'll be like, you are doubting for real whether that person died. And so it grows,
and it may end up affecting an individual. It may end up affecting an individual.
And another type of
grief is called broken heart syndrome. Broken heart syndrome grief. This is the pain you feel when you are grieving. At times you feel like your heart is paining a lot of pain. What happens for you to feel this pain? It is only that the stress hormones are released more in your body because of what you have lost, and your heart swells. Some parts of your heart swell. Yeah. And there's a difference between the broken heart syndrome and heart attack. We are not talking about heart attack here because heart attack is about the arteries. But the broken heart syndrome, we are talking about the heart swelling.
So some parts are functional. We were looking at the types of griefs, and we have looked at type 1 and type 2. We were looking at type 3, which is the broken heart syndrome type of grief. And we were saying that we have said that this type of grief is different from heart attack because you feel a lot of pain, such that you even lose some breath. Yeah, you lose some breath because your heart has swollen. One side of the heart is swollen, but the other parts are functional. This is not about the artery. It's just about the heart functioning. Number 4, let us look at another type of grief called desenchantized grief. Desenchantized grief. This is the grief when mourning is restricted. Yeah, when you are not allowed to mourn because of various things or various circumstances, more so because of culture. We are not able to mourn our loved one because the culture does not allow us, or if it allows us, it's just a few days or a few weeks. Then we go back to our normal life. So there are types of culture which does not allow mourning or does not allow grieving for long, and others allow it, and those are the best cultures. Allow the person to grieve to the end. If it's about crying, allow them to cry, because if they don't do that, they'll go through this type of grief. And many times when this type of grief is experienced due to the cause of death, what caused the death of this person can also be a cause of this type of grief. Like suicide. Let's talk about suicide. Maybe you have a friend, a brother, or a child, or or whoever who committed suicide. At times, we don't even tell people that this person committed suicide, and so we are feeling a lot of pain, or we cry a lot because of the circumstances, or because of the cause of death. We don't grieve, but the grieving is there. Grieving will always be there, either whether we show it or not. Inside us, it is there. Another cause of desenchantized grief is maybe due to miscarriage. You underwent a miscarriage, and people do not really think that you need to mourn or you need to grieve. People just imagine just a miscarriage. Okay, it is paining, but nobody ever comes maybe to mourn with you or to grieve with you. You may go through this type of grief. Another type of death which may cause this type of grief is shooting. If somebody was shot, maybe due to their behaviors or whatever they were doing, they end up being shot and killed. Many of us do not grieve these people, but the significant others. Remember, grieving is determined by the relationship you had with this person. So they will grieve, but because the society does not expect them to show that this person was good to them, they hold on their grief. They hold the grief inside them. So these are the types of grief we are going to be experiencing. But I would like us to look at the types of losses which would cause this grieving. What are some of the losses we go through in life? But this is the key. The types of losses we go in life, because I remember when I was a child, when I lost a pen, or I lost a book or a sweater, when I got home it was about punches and beating and everything else.
not realizing that there was an attachment. Me, with my book, or my sweater, or whatever I lost, there was some attachment. And somebody who is a parent does not realize this, so all you get is punch, punch, punch. You added more punch. But it is important to realize that there was an attachment. And wherever there is an attachment, when we lose the attachment, we go through grief. Number one type of loss is the death of a loved one. That is obvious. We go through loss when we lose a loved one, maybe a parent, a sibling, a child, all those. That is well known that we go through loss. But there are other losses which are usually ignored. Besides losing the person we love more, there are other things we go through grieving, and because we lose them. This is divorce. When you go through divorce, or you go through a breakup, these people or the persons involved, either the parents or the children, need to get help, because you have lost a relationship between you, the husband and the wife, and the children also have lost the relationship between the children and the parent, yeah? And maybe they're even divided. Do they really get help? These children really get help, because you may see them behaving differently. You may see them being very aggressive in things. You may see them giving up in life. You may find them getting into drugs and alcoholism just because of that. And you may not be aware that the loss is what is causing this. Another type of loss is loss of a friendship. Loss of a friendship. We usually hear people talk of, I lost a friend, or I lost a boyfriend, a girlfriend, and so I'm just committing suicide. Most of campuses and college, yeah, you find somebody committing suicide is because they're not able to hold on to the loss. It is just too much for them. They're not getting help from anyone, and they find like, wow, this is all, I better die. They become depressed because loss would lead to depression, and so they feel like the only way out is committing suicide. Loss of a friendship. Even grown-ups lose friendship, and it affects them. Yeah, it's very important when you lose a friend, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Talk to someone who will help you go through the loss emotions. Another loss of health. Loss of health. So you can imagine somebody who was very healthy, and all of a sudden they get sick. You are diagnosed with that disease, maybe not a curable disease. You experience loss. And people who are taking care of you also experience loss. So it is very, very important to take care of this person. Whoever has lost the health, whoever is taking care of this person, it's very, very important to take care of them. And with health, many people are taken care of maybe where they go to the hospital or wherever they go. But at home, those who are left, they are like, you just go to the hospital, visit them, and go home. Nobody cares what you are going through. This is very, 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 very critical, because you need to take care of this person emotionally. Take care of their thoughts. What is it that they are thinking about this person who has lost their health? It is important to take care of them. And because of that, we will be right back. We are going on for a short break, but we will be right back to continue with the types of losses. Keep right there. Thank you.
Kipaimara ni sakramenti yenye kumpa Mkristo Roho Mtakatifu na ukamilifu wa mapaji yake 7, kumfanya Mkristo mkamilifu na kumfanya shahidi hodari wa Yesu Kristo mpaka kufa.
Kupata kipaimara kama skiza tune yako, tuma neno skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100272 kwa 811. Sakramenti ni nini? na misingi yake iko wapi katika Biblia takatifu? Wajua vipindi vya kanisa Katoliki? Ni alama na vyombo gani vinavyotumika katika maadhimisho ya ibada zetu? Ungana nasi kila siku ya Jumanne saa 1:30 jioni katika kipindi cha Sakramenti na Biblia. Ni kutoka hapa Capuchin TV, tukiikuza imani Katoliki kwa pamoja.
Welcome back to the program Health Talk, and we are looking at types of losses. The topic today is understanding loss and grief, and as we continue, let us look at one of the major causes of us behaving differently or us behaving negatively is loss of a job. Loss of a job. When you lose a job, it is an attachment you are losing. This is a relationship you are losing. When you lose a job, you lose the job itself. You lose like waking up every day in the morning, looking up, doing something, and it's no longer there. So you lose it, you lose friends, you lose whatever you are doing. And many times we feel like this person, if you lose a job, you should be okay, just like any other. Look for a job. And at times we pressure them, wake up and look for a job, go look for, not knowing what they are going through. They are already paining in their hearts. And the pain may be too much that they need to relax first, and they be taken care of emotionally, they be taken care of thoughts and behaviors. It is very important. Another loss, a loss of a vocation. A loss of a vocation. Maybe it's something you have always wanted to do or to be. A loss of a vocation or a career. Maybe you are passionate about something, but all of a sudden something happens and it is cut short. What does that mean? It means this person has lost maybe what they wanted to be, or whatever they wanted to be in life. There are so many vocations. There are so many careers. When I lose it, I lose part of me. We are going to look at how do I lose part of me? How? And losing a vocation is losing part of you because it's a need. It's something you really wanted. And that is what we are looking at next, a type of a loss called losing some aspect of self. Losing some aspect of self. At times we feel like things just happened, not knowing that a piece of you is getting lost. Like when you go through rape, when someone goes through rape, you definitely lose an aspect of self. And this is a very key area when we talk of losing self. You may find this person becoming maybe a perfectionist. They want to, maybe if it is rape, yeah? Losing that piece of you, you'll find the person always wanting to be very clean. The bed is extremely clean. You find them using white bed sheets and clothing. Maybe this person is still mourning and grieving the aspect of themselves which they lost. It's very important to talk to this person. Talk to them. What is it that they are feeling like they lost? Because this may end up bringing a lot of physical and psychological disorders to this person all their life if they are not taken care of. What about abuse? Still, when you are abused, either physical, emotional, sexual, psychologically, you lose a part of yourself. The person you knew you are, you lose. The person you knew you are strong, you are healthy, and somebody else abuses you, you lose that. So it's very, very important to take care of this person. They may be going through very difficult time. Another loss which is ignored by us is called developmental loss. Developmental loss. When we talk of developmental loss, we are talking of a person, maybe you are in a certain developmental stage. Let us look at a person who is elderly, yeah, a person who is elderly, and that person is talking of, well, when I was 16 years old, when I was 18, when I was 24, when I was in a certain age, an age which is far, far, far gone, and they're talking, you know, I was very smart, you know, I was very beautiful, you know, I used to wake up and work and very energetic. What is that person telling you? They are telling you that there is an old self that has been left behind. Yeah, an old or an aspect of that person has been left behind. That is why they are talking of when I was 16. I was very beautiful. Nilikuwa msichana mrembo. Nilikuwa mzuri. Nilikuwa this. I was this. I was this. What does that tell you? That that person may be living in that developmental stage. They never negotiated it very well. Maybe they never realized that they were, because they weren't taken through. And so it has moved on with them all their life. And it's now that they are realizing, I think I was. And they keep telling you, you remember, I remember when I was so-and-so, I was this age. I used to be 1, 2, 3. That person is going through a loss, developmental. They lost. They never realized themselves when they were in that age. And it's very important to realize the age we are in every time in our lives. Acknowledge the age you are in, how you are supposed to behave in that particular developmental stage, that you may not move on and stagnate in a different developmental stage. Another loss, a loss of financial stability. Loss of financial stability. Like this COVID time, many of us have lost job. We have lost, maybe we used to finance everything in the house. Now I am not able to finance anymore. I'm not able to pay my bills. Yeah, I'm struggling to pay my bills because I'm no longer working, or the business has gone down, and I'm not able to meet that. And the society and the family and friends are expecting me to do something so that I can come up and continue with my finances. But what is happening with this person? Remember, they are feeling like they were somewhere, but now they are not there. So they have lost. What do we do with this person? Let us allow them to grieve. They would only think right. They would only think right if they are allowed to feel the pain of losing the financial stability. Yes, I have lost. Yes, I've gone to zero. I need to start from there. What am I going to do? Let somebody assist that person, because they may not be thinking right. And we are pushing them to deliver or to financially assist. We are just pushing, not knowing what is going on in this person's life. Another loss of a house or loss of property. Maybe through auction, maybe through moving, or you lose a house, maybe your own house, or a property you owned, but now it's no longer yours. Maybe through court case or fights in the families, and I owned this piece of land, but we are fighting with brothers and sisters, or we are fighting with families. This person may psychologically be affected because they are going through loss. There was an attachment of owning that. You knew it was yours. You need to get help if you are going through a loss of a house, loss of a property. Allow me to look at another loss when we talk of losing of property, losing of houses. Let me add the word change. When we change houses, when we change estates, when we move houses, do our children ever know that next month or 2 months' time we are going to move houses? They are mostly affected when we move houses, because they had friends, they had whoever they were mingling around with. But as parents, we just tell them, you know what, this weekend we are moving. You, the parent, you had prepared that you are moving next month. What about the child? They are like, you are moving. Even the transfer of schools, you are like, next time, the coming term, you are not opening in that school. Did you give them time? Did you give them time to understand that they are moving? Lastly, let us look at retirement and job transfer, because many people who retire, they feel stuck. What makes them feel stuck? Because they weren't well prepared for that. They weren't well prepared for the retirement. They are used to waking up every day in the morning, and there is a particular thing they are doing. I've handled so many cases of people who have retired and they are depressed. They are undergoing depression, others contemplating suicide even, just because of retirement. They don't know what to do. Others die very early after a short while after retirement. They don't live for long because of what they are going through. But what do? We need to help this person go that emotionally. More so, let us help them before they retire even. Let us prepare them psychologically that is what they are going to go through. Before we even change jobs, even if it's not retiring, we are retiring from this and getting to another job. Are you well prepared for that? Are you psychologically prepared for that? That is why we find so many people into addiction. That's why we find so many people into drugs. Many people who are into drugs, many people who are into addiction, they have lost something in their life. If only we will be able to understand, if only we will be able to talk to them and understand what is it that they lost. Talk to them. Let us talk to them. And if it was lost, are we able to recover it? If we are not able to recover it, how do we move on psychologically? How do we move on emotionally with this person? Very, very important. Change of schools, of houses, we have talked about that. We have talked about loss of retirement, very important. Prepare for retirement early enough. And after you retire, whatever you used to do every day may not be there. Be prepared for that, because you may undergo loss and grief. We have looked at a loss of stability, or financial stability. I'm no longer able to financially support my family. I am going through that loss. Loss of some aspect of self, very important. If you have ever gone through abuse, we are talking of physical abuse, we are talking of sexual abuse, we are talking of emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Look for somebody to talk to. Talk about this. What is it that you feel like you went through when all this was happening? Because it may be the root cause. Loss may be the root cause of all what we are going through in life. Maybe a loss I underwent in my teenage, a loss I underwent in my childhood is coming up when I'm in my marriage. So we are not able to understand each other. And we'll be talking about this in future, marriage. How do we understand where each other person is coming from? Did I come with my family of origin to my marriage? What I lost? Am I carrying it psychologically into my marriage? Am I being affected by these? All these we are going to look at. Look at marriage and loss. Very important. That's what we have talked about, and it's very important to look for help. Get some help. Get somebody to talk to if you have gone through all the losses we have talked about. It's very important, because you may be behaving in a certain manner without knowing that that is the cause of your behavior. Reach out to us. My name is Esther Mentor. I had not introduced myself. I'm a psychological counselor and a specialization in addiction and marriage and family therapy. Kindly reach us through the number on your screen. You'll get help from there. Thank you so much. God bless you. We meet next week, same time, same place. Thank you.
Liturujia Katoliki, sakramenti, kuungama, ekaristi, sala, nyimbo, neno la Mungu, ibada takatifu.